Thank you very much. We're here today to launch the first ever U.S. government-wide initiative focused on economic empowerment for women in developing countries. A lot of people have worked very hard, especially some of the people behind me. I want to thank Ivanka for the incredible job that she's done in leading this initiative. Thanks also to Secretary Mike Pompeo, Secretary Wilbur Ross, Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Acting Secretary Patrick Shanahan, Ambassador John Bolton, Ambassador Mark Green, and Peace Corps Director Jody Olson. I want to thank you all very much. I know how hard you've all worked, and thank you. Great job. So important. I also want to thank Senator Chris Coons, who's we just left. We had a wonderful prayer breakfast this morning, which was a tremendous gathering of a lot of great people, along with Representatives Mark Meadows and Michael McCall for being here. Thank you all very much. We're thrilled to have so many government and private sector leaders with us. As my national security strategy says, investing in women helps achieve greater peace and prosperity for nations. Not only our nations, this is all nations all over the world. We're getting together. We've developed a lot of really tremendous relationships because of what we're doing right here. American women demonstrate every day that when women are free to thrive and prosper, they create jobs, strengthen our communities, and bring greater peace and prosperity to our nation and all over the world. Today, we're here to take a historic step to achieve this goal. In just a few moments, I will sign the National Security Presidential Memorandum to establish the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative, also known as the WGDP. Good name. That's what you should Through this initiative, our goal is to reach 50 million women and maybe more, and it looks like it is probably going to be substantially more than that, substantially more than 50 million women in the developing world, and that will be done, Ivanka, by 2025, they say. The WGDP will coordinate efforts. Is sort of interesting. GDP, I'm thinking about gross domestic product, but that's okay because that's what you're doing. You're actually increasing gross domestic product.
That's why, exactly.
When you do this well. The WGDP will coordinate efforts across the federal government and work with other nations, organizations, and private sector partners to help women in developing countries fully and freely participate in their local economics. So this is a tremendous step for women. Other leaders of other countries have asked us to get involved and do it, and through the people standing behind me largely, that group has done something that a lot of people thought could not be done. I've directed the U.S. AID to allocate an initial $50 million for a new WGDP fund, which will implement our strategy of making smarter, metrics-based investments that catalyze private sector dollars. This initiative will be prioritized in the upcoming future and in upcoming future budgets. Our goal is to empower women to help their home countries become self-reliant and to allow a lot of families, millions of families throughout the world, to become self-reliant, and also in the United States, very importantly. Today we are honored to welcome women from many different countries, and I'm going to have them say a few words, who are already benefiting from U.S. government programs and who are achieving in their own countries and elsewhere some really incredible things, some amazing stories. I'd like to ask Ivanka to say a few words, introduce a few of the folks. And Ivanka, if you'd start off, maybe you could start right now, and then we'll do a signing when we're all finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Well, thank you for your tremendous leadership on this effort, and I want to thank everyone who's in this room for their contribution over the past year through the interagency process. As the President said, this is the first U.S. government, all of government, approach to empowering women in the developing world, and we're incredibly excited. We will hit 50 million women by 2025 through one of three pillars. The first is women prospering in the workforce, so helping with vocational educations that will enable them to secure jobs. giving them access to technology which will enhance the productivity of the work that they're already doing. The second is helping women entrepreneurs gain access to finance and capital that enable them to scale and grow their businesses. This will create a multiplier effect, lifting up communities. And the third is the enabling environments and creating the conditions for women to thrive. We know that there is a very strong correlation between women's empowerment and peace. That's been well established, and thank you, Acting Secretary Shanahan, for your great work through this process to get us to today's PM. We also know that women, as 50% of the population, are absolutely critical to each country's prosperity, and we want to further incentivize and fuel that, but make sure to have it be metric-driven and outcome-based. So we have rigorous metrics. Our goal is to transform all the recipient countries from receivers of foreign aid and development assistance to self-reliant and ultimately trading partners with the United States. So I think some of the best examples of this are right here in this room under programs launched under this administration. So perhaps Nino from Georgia, if you could say a few words about your experience and how the U.S. government has helped support you and the effect it's had in your home community.
Thank you, Ivanka, Mr. President. Ivanka, first of all, I would like to thank you for this great initiative and take the opportunity and thank the U.S. taxpayers, because they have to know that they are changing the lives of every single person all over the world for the better. I'm a grantee of Millennium Challenge Corporation, and I was the one who thought that the women in Georgia had no future. But the breaking point was when Millennium Challenge gave me the opportunity to overcome the challenge. I started with a 2 cow, and I become one of the biggest farmers of Georgia in reality, and now supporting my community in the terms of access to finance, education, and their prosperity. So, Mr. President, with your leadership, Georgian relationship with the U.S. flourished, and each and every Georgian citizen feels that, and I would like to thank for that, and the cultural barriers with your support and with the projects U.S. government does in Georgia really is tremendous, because women have future of Georgia. You have thousands Ninos all over the world who cannot come here and would not say it. So on behalf of the beneficiaries of U.S. project, I would like to thank you again.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. We said, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, please.
I'd just like to add, this is an important project. State Department is fully behind it. The women at the State Department are a central part of what we do, and that we will be through multiple programs. We've got scholars here from Fulbright, a long history, and this will be an important addition to America's efforts to empower women all across the world. We're proud to be a part of this, and we look forward to working on it in the days and weeks ahead.
That's great. Thank you very much, Mike. John Bolton, please.
Well, Mr. President, this national security presidential memorandum that you're about to sign is founded in your national security strategy. The ideas that Ivanka has been pursuing here are critical, we think, to some of the central pillars of that strategy. Very important for the United States to see this development around the world. It's very exciting. It really is a whole of government approach, and everybody's behind it.
Thank you, John, very much. Great job. Senator, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Ivanka. It's been great to work with you and to be here to help celebrate your signing this next step in this critical Women's Growth and Prosperity and Development Initiative. It dovetails nicely with the BUILD Act, bipartisan bill you signed into law, with the WE Act, which recognizes this as a critical strategy. In my limited experience in Africa, every extra development dollar the United States invests in women, they invest in skills, in creating jobs, in building employment, and in their children and the future. And in societies where women's entrepreneurship is strong, there is peace. So I think this is a tremendous initiative. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
President.
very much. I appreciate it. Mark Meadows, I see you. You're back there, Mark, and you were so instrumental.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership, and Ivanka, thank you for your role. But more importantly, thank all the people here in the room for your leadership on this issue. But it's the stories that'll be told, Mr. President, that you'll never hear in this Oval Office. The lives that will be changed, the people that will be empowered, that will be a lasting legacy of this effort today. And I want to thank you.
Thank you, Mark, very much. And Wilbur, commerce has a lot to do with what's going on right now, and this is a big part of commerce. What do you think?
Well, it certainly is. If this goal is achieved, it'll add $12 trillion to the world GDP in 2025. That would be like creating another China, but without the trade deficit.
And we won't have that for too long.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to say anything? Michael, anybody?
Thank you, Mr.
Please.
President. I just want to thank Ivanka for her tremendous leadership on this issue. And the WE Act was incredible to pass that. As a father of 4 girls, women rule my house. And this will impact 50 million women across the globe. It's very significant. And Ambassador Bolton and Secretary, thank you for making this a part of your national security strategy, Mr. President, because it is a national security issue. And I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Would anyone like to say anything? Would you like to
Secretary
say?
Shanahan,
Yes.
would you?
Maybe just
Go ahead.
a couple quick words. Economic stability is good defense policy. The seeds of flawed ideology are born from the absence of economic security. I'm hoping, Ivanka, your initiative will put me out of business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Yes, please.
My name is Elazande of Budala village, southern Malawi.
Right?
I am a founder and chairman of Budala Women's Group. I started a group in 2010 with 10 women. Today, we have 65 women in 3 villages. Over past 8 years, we had 4 Peace Corps volunteers who taught us many things. Like we have businesses, we are workforces. So now I'm happy to be here in America. I'm very proud and happy to be here on behalf of my group and my Malawi women. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Beautifully said.
And one of the components of this initiative as well is the importance of catalyzing the private sector to achieve our shared goals. So we'll be announcing today a partnership with UPS to help women entrepreneurs gain access to markets through their services, as well as a partnership with Pepsi, a co-investment with USAID. So we really want to lean on the private sector to help us achieve these goals. And the CEO of Deloitte, Kathy, is with us today and has done tremendous work in this space.
Great.
So
Would you like to say something?
Yes,
That's
well,
great. Thank you
obviously,
so
the
much.
benefits are well documented, the barriers are well documented,
Right.
and we look forward to the bold strategy that's ahead of us, so we're really looking
Thank you
forward
so
to it.
much. We appreciate what you did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's sign, right? Let's sign. Okay. Who would like this pen? Who would like? I think I know who I'm giving it to. I'm giving it. Everybody gets a pen. So here it is, folks. This is a lot of very hard work. I think this is something very, very special, and very special people. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There could be. I hear they're working on something, and we'll see what happens. But I certainly hear that they're working on something, and both sides are moving along. We'll see what happens. We need border security. We have to have it. It's not an option. Let's see what happens.
Should Matthew Smith testify in the presidential race?
All right, that he's an outstanding person. I would say if he did testify, he'd do very well. He's an outstanding person, a very, very fine man. Thank you all very much.